Hello and welcome to a Squadron 42 monthly report going over what Cloud Imperium games have been working on over the last few weeks for Star Citizen's single-player campaign, as well as major AI updates to both projects. So what have they been working on and what are they focused on now in January 2023? The AI content team completed a significant number of tasks for Chapter 15 of Squadron 42. This included prototyping animations for crowds and combatants alongside developing several usables and animation sets for dejected characters around the level. The welding engineer also received a lot of improvements. Considerable work on AI interacting with usables found in living spaces was done. The bridge crew behavior and animations also received further iteration and are now starting to look polished. They built out an animation schedule for all the rest of the work to be completed for Squadron 42. As part of this, the team will now implement usables and behaviors into the final game levels earlier in the pipeline. The AI features team implemented AI functionality into manned turrets. Like other objects that NPCs need to be able to use, the turrets have been set up as usables, which describes the logic and animations required to use them. As with the player, animations are synchronized with the turret movement so that the AI grips the turret by its handles while rotating on the spot to aim horizontally and tilts the turret up and down to aim vertically. The team worked on implementing a wide range of panic, cower and surrender behaviors of both unarmed civilians and enemy NPCs that have run out of ammunition and weapons. If an unarmed civilian sees that an enemy has an unholstered weapon, they will notify characters nearby using a wild line and then panic run to a hidden point of cover. They will continue to run away from the enemy if their cover is compromised. Unarmed characters that hear this information will turn to react to the enemy and then panic themselves. By randomizing the speed at which the NPCs react, the devs can generate a natural-looking range of behaviors from a crowd responding to a threat. Armed enemies that have run out of ammo and weapons will run to cover while searching for valid ammo and weapons to pick up. Again, if their cover is exposed, they will re-evaluate and run to a new position. If the player aims at an armed or unarmed NPC, they will stay on the spot but turn to face the player and move through a sequence of surrender animations whilst communicating with the player. As part of combat, the team worked on the medic AI behaviors to allow NPCs to find incapacitated peers that need reviving and use med pens to get them back to the fight. This involved bringing together numerous existing functionalities from various areas, including the usable system, consumable item, synchronized animations, ragdoll into animations to allow the characters to stand up from ragdoll, and subsumption to script all the behaviors together. The next stage is integrating this behavior with the standard react to presumed dead bodies behavior to generate more complex behaviors. AI features also started work on a non-human character. This involved creating a core new set of animations for the new creature and slotting it into the existing basic framework. From there, they were able to rapidly develop the core functionality, which passed to the design team for feedback. A few areas of work were revisited to tie up loose ends. The first of these was the Vandal investigation behavior. During the cat and mouse gameplay section, the Vandal will now investigate the floor vents in the room with different animations for different alertness levels. The design team added new functionalities for the accuracy calculations. This included adding a mercy timer, firing timer, and time since scene accuracy modifiers. The mercy timer gives the player a fighting chance to escape from heavy fire by making the AI inaccurate for a set period of time when the player's health has reached a certain threshold. The firing time accuracy modifier reduces the accuracy over firing periods for similar purposes. The time since scene accuracy modifier allows the player a grace period after moving out of cover, during which the attacker's accuracy will be lower. The accuracy distance calculation was also changed to be curve-based for greater control. The AI tech team progressed with features required for both the Persistent Universe and Squadron 42. The team continued to iterate on more complex navigation links to extend the capabilities of NPCs and where they're able to move to, including implementing adapters for airlocks and elevators. Now NPCs will know that in order to traverse an airlock, they will need to interact with multiple consoles to adjust the pressure and open the door. For elevators, navigation links were created to connect multiple floors. A navigation link was also created to request a reconnection with the navigation mesh triangles each time an elevator stops at a floor to allow NPCs to transition in and out. Based on the navigation link connections, an NPC will know how to request an elevator to go to a specific floor. New event notifications were added, sent by the elevator when it arrives to a floor, so the actor will know to get on or off. At the end of the year, the base functionality of NPCs driving ground vehicles was completed. NPCs can now move to a vehicle and get into the driver's seat, find a path suitable for the size of the vehicle, and drive along it. This work involved the creation of new subsumption tasks, a new movement request type, and updating the movement planner to know how to process the request. The team also added new functionality to the navigation systems that marks entities to be ignored during navigation mesh generation. NPC perception was another major topic worked on towards the end of the year. The team implemented a new adapter for action areas to specify lightness, darkness, which will influence NPCs' visual perception. NPCs are now aware of vehicles and their proximity by sound. While working on perception improvements, the devs fixed AI visual perception through glass, and the AI can now move to the other side of it and fire, pursue. They know it's glass, they know if they can break it, all that sort of jazz. For locomotion, improvements continued on sharp turn assets and how they're triggered for alien characters or at walk speeds. Related to this, work began on following tech, which will be used in conjunction with the buddy AI behavior. For this, the team improved soft stops, collision avoidance with players, and speed handling based on the leader's change in speed. The vehicle feature team worked on significant improvements and features for flight AI, including largely completing their work on several sections involving ships attacking actors on the ground. This work revolves around a redesign of the core combat logic. The AI vehicle team said, "We're working toward a more varied and interesting ship combat experience than before, so we're planning out and making changes to combat AI and testing them in Squadron 42 to get the experience we want." Gameplay animation worked on Vandal executions, zero-G player movement, and various animation sets for background life. They also added skill level variation to takedowns alongside new weapons. They then shot mocap for a variety of additional scenes and gameplay needs, and created facial animations for various story and background characters. The concept artists worked on tattoo and armor variation concepts for the Screaming Gallisons to help fill out the faction, and continued work on a key campaign character. The artists also worked on the Screaming Gallisons armor along with the Navy pilot flight suit and a new creature. Tech art skinned the main Navy jumpsuit and paired assets for the deck crew, engineers, and gunners. Tech animation have been taking some long overdue actors and starting the internal processing procedure to create their likeness. This includes creating over 78 scans per head asset and processing them to the neutral head asset. Some of these actors were scanned over several years ago on the main shoot for Squadron 42, so they look quite different these days. Environment art approached content complete on several chapter locations, including chapters 7 and 11. Asset kits are currently in progress to help flesh out spacescaping for the flight-based chapters, while Vandal shipwork continues as the team prepares to hand them over to be set up. Vehicle features largely completed a full rework of quantum travel, which is being integrated into Squadron 42 for testing. This continues from the quantum boost feature mentioned in previous reports, and significantly improves the overall feature implementation. They also supported the VFX team in integrating new effects for quantum travel. They are also working on a recall feature available to various military ships in the game. This uses the AI pathfinding tech used in the Persistent Universe and will allow various Squadron 42 levels to be completed. Vehicle features then completed a significant refactor of the aiming system and are currently working with UI to implement new aiming reticles and pips to go alongside it. This will result in huge improvements in aiming accuracy and reliability. It's currently being tested to improve the combat experience. Significant time towards the end of 2022 went into the multifunction display, MFD, heads-up display, HUD, and vehicle UI reworks. The vehicle features team said, "The base MFD system is making huge strides, and we've partially implemented most of the core MFD screens for ships using the new building block system. We're just starting to build the new HUD, which deeply integrates with the MFD system and configuration options and MFD casting options. Control surfaces continued development, and in the last 2 months, the team improved stalling and transitions. For example, when a ship detects it's about to stall, it can automatically enable thrusters to stop it from falling. Similarly, when a ship has detected it's going fast enough to sustain control surface flight, it can automatically shut down its maneuvering thrusters and start flying solely with control surfaces. This is greatly improving the atmospheric flight sections of the campaign. Gameplay Story worked on shooting mocap to update various scenes. A scene in Chapter 8 was updated to ensure the character could interact with a variety of props instead of just performing visual inspections. The team made sure the character used AI poses to allow them to break out of the scene if needed. The character also interacts well with the Argo MPUV, meaning they can fly into the Idris before starting their scene. Another area further explored was unholstering and holstering. This time the team were able to make a character grab the multi-tool and datapad from the exact position it attaches to the character and place it back. A number of updates were also made to characters in chapters 4 and 8. This involved utilising the latest female walk cycle to enable the AI to seamlessly enter and exit scenes. The VFX programming team began implementing new quantum travel and boost effects. These effects are now in a basic functional state and are triggering at generally the correct time. Work will continue to expose timing controls and implement the functionality for adapting the effects to any size ship. Work on the fire hazard system is ramping up again, starting with implementing requests for controlling fire and its propagation for design purposes. On the visual side, the team are currently planning out the work required for reaching the visual goals set by VFX Art. A significant update was made to a scene in Chapter 13, with the team adjusting animations to work with the final geometry of the level, making it so the character can speak to the player from a better position. A major review of scenes that had been worked on throughout the past year was done too. This led to increased animation quality, either by reusing the latest mocap or fixing what was already in place. Many new animations were created and polish passes were done on the animations to further improve scenes alongside general maintenance and bug fixing. Narrative had a week-long performance capture shoot in the UK to close out capturing wildlines for one of the enemy factions, as well as narrative content scenes for a set piece. They also picked up content to support the new dynamic conversation system that will provide exciting opportunities for NPCs to chat with each other. This opens a lot of opportunities for contextual conversations that can help maintain the illusion of life and storytelling outside of dedicated scripted scenes. The team continues to hold reviews with the various design teams to develop updated scripts and provide placeholder recordings. This is to ensure lines are not only creating the right dramatic beats, but are also clearly indicating what the player is meant to do in order to progress. Narrative also met with characters to ensure that all necessary costumes have been requested to support the various chapters that specific NPCs appear in. They said, based on the scope of the script, it shouldn't come as a surprise that there are a lot of characters that the players will meet over the course of the game. This list is complicated by the fact that some of the characters will have a schedule, and that will drive them from work to rest, necessitating a variety of clothing to be available. The VFX team progressed with the particle library overhaul. This included creating a custom level showing all available effects, which is useful for other VFX artists to quickly view the effects library. The artists also continue to support art and design teams on key locations and cinematic scenes. Elsewhere, working alongside the VFX programmers, the new quantum travel effects were made functional. Previously, they were in-engine prototypes. Having seen these effects working properly, there is still some tweaking to be done to better match the prototype. Boom! That's it for your Squadron 42 monthly report, this time for January 2023. We still don't have hard release dates on Squadron 42. We don't have a even rough release date for Squadron 42 at the moment. I'm hoping that sort of CitizenCon time this year is when they might start a traditional advertising campaign for Squadron, and we might start seeing a lot more about it, and they might even suggest a date that it would be released. But what do you think? Are you excited and hype about the progress they're making for Squadron 42? Or are you sort of a little bit more conservative about it, saying, well, there's not actually an indication of how long it's going to be? It's great that they're making lots of progress with some of this stuff, especially with AI, but it's going to be quite a while before the game is in our hands. Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Especially your wild stabs in the dark at when you think Squadron 42 Episode 1 will be released. It's a new year, time for resolutions, a brighter future. I'll make myself better each day. Or I could just stay at home and play computer games. But What if someone steals my house or bank while I'm otherwise preoccupied on the internet? NordVPN.com/BoredGamer. It's probably the best VPN deal of 2023 already. Not only does it provide security, anonymity, and accessibility on the interwebs, but I haven't heard of anyone with NordVPN having their house stolen. Thanks, NordVPN. Now no one will know what type of degenerate anime I watch. Get NordVPN, you filthy animal. You deserve it. Every month we have a ship giveaway. For January, we are giving away an Argo Raft, the reinforced advanced freight transport ship, a dedicated cargo hauler that should see some additional gameplay in 2023. This also comes with a Star Citizen game package and lifetime insurance. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning that is comment on any of my videos made during the month. More details in the description below. If you'd like to further support the channel, then please consider becoming a YouTube member with the join button under my videos. You could even become a Patreon, there's links below to that, but liking, subscribing, commenting goes a huge way to help the channel grow. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the verse.